Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for sharing and for joining us. Um, because we have the convention coming up, we decided to keep this meeting light and to cancel the meeting in August because it does kind of fall within the same time of the convention. But we're hoping that that way we can just put our efforts into the September meeting to, to be able to have our September, October, and September, October meeting being more intentional towards the election, and then our November meeting, hopefully as a celebratory meeting. So if you would like to help with those events and planning, you can please reach out to Martin. In my case, I'm Rojo. I'm the chair of the Indigenous Peoples Caucus. I'm based in traditional cattle territory, which is Arlington and DFW area. Um, with that, thank you all again. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get it started. We don't have a specific agenda for today. We wanted to keep it more as a conversation, but also as community building for for folks to kind of make the connections and maybe anything that we want to take action on. Um, After I do the acknowledgement and we take kind of like the second for Representative Sheila, I will pass it to Lisha. That way, maybe Lisha, you can mention a little bit about what we're working on towards the statement that we'll be finalizing most likely today and posting this week. But with that, I would like to acknowledge that we're gathering on traditional ancestral lands um, of people that live here and care for this land for generations. We honor their enduring connection to the land and their ongoing struggle for justice and recognition. I would also like to take a moment of honor in the memory of Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, a dedicated public servant and fierce advocate for civil rights and social justice. Her legacy of service and commitment to her constituents and to all of us will not be forgotten. And as some of you know, something to recognize from her is that she was critical in presenting, right, the Juneteenth resolution and also a few others. I know she was also in support always of Deb Haaland whenever that she was appointed to the Department of Interior. So with that, I'll pass it now to Lisha, our communications coordinator.
Thank you, Rojo. Hey, everybody, again, I'm Lisha. I've been working on a statement after speaking with Rojo this afternoon, just kind of thanking President Biden. It doesn't really lean into support for Kamala Harris, although I did just get an email from the Biden-Harris camp announcing her run. I don't know if I can share my screen. And I can let you all see it. I did upload it to the communications channel, the officers channel, and sent it to your email, Rojo. Hold on just a second, guys. And I'm going to mute it. I don't have to hear my dog.
You're good. We can also just work on it later today as well. If anybody here is interested in supporting with communications and maybe in different ways, right? Whether it's social media, emails, or just supporting us with the statements for the Indigenous Peoples Caucus or connecting with media, feel free to reach out to Alicia because we will be working a lot this next few months on making sure that the voice of Native American and Texans, Indigenous Texans, can be part of the conversation on who the president will be, but really local elections, which, as you all know, will be our focus for this election. With that, I think we can open the conversation a little. I would love to know how folks are feeling after such an eventful month. I think even from the assassination, right, and everything leading to it, and then the debate. So yeah, feel free to raise your hands, and also if you're joining a little bit late, feel free to put on the chat your name, where you're calling from, so folks could know. But yeah, please go ahead, Reverend.
The first thing I want to just mention is Melissa wanted to make certain that Melissa is running for Congress in Congressional District 38 against Republican Wesley Hunt. And one of the things she asked me to make sure that I asked of the IPC is, how can we better represent and support you? So that is just throwing that out there because I was asked to do that, so I wanted to make sure that I don't forget. So thoughts on everything, I guess. The debate was two old men smacking each other around. As far as what we're at now, I think Leisha not leaning into Kamala is probably the safest move, just because she's not a lock for the nomination. Even though, I mean, I would personally vote for her if I was up there.
I mean, she's gonna be. I don't think anybody else is gonna. Considering we're at like 4 months, that's crazy. It's just wild.
Yeah, the whole thing is just a mess, and I think it's largely the talking heads that caused the mess, but it is what it is, and we're at the position we're at. I know, here in the Houston area, we're reeling because it's like we had a weekend of suckage, right? So Sheila Jackson Lee passed away on Friday, so we were reeling from that news yesterday, Saturday, and now today Biden has said, I am not running for re-election anymore. And I'm just like, okay, so what's going to happen on Monday? But as far as thoughts go, yeah, that's what I got.
Thank you.
And I would love to be part of communications, while I don't know how much I can do.
Noted. I think for the question, if you don't mind, just if you're able to type it on the chat, that way maybe folks can ponder on the question a little more as well and try to answer it if they do decide to share and speak, or share in the comments. I will say that at least something that we're going to try on the Texas Ledge next year is emphasizing the importance of tribal IDs to be recognized when Native American folks that are part of a recognized tribe, federally recognized tribe, are not stopped from using it to exercise their vote. We know that, sometimes with all the information with voting and really the back and forth fighting between Republicans and Democrats around access to voting, I think it's important just to highlight that federally recognized tribal IDs are legally binding documents to vote. So, we've heard cases here and there where some folks said that they were not stopped per se, but they were not encouraged to. So I think, we're going to be making a bigger push for next year. But that's one from the top of my head. Would anyone like to build from what Reverend maybe share with us about the thoughts with, Biden, from whether it's the debate forward and to the announcement today?
Well, in regards to what I want to build from what you just stated, Rojo, in regards to the tribal federal IDs. As an election judge, I want to make sure that we do push it so hard that it will become part of our list that we are allowed to use, since right now the only list that we have is only for passports, driver's license, IDs, military, but nothing, I repeat, nothing in regards to tribal federal IDs, which it should automatically be able to be used, but being the state that we live in, being they try to suppress the vote, they don't want to let us use it because, well, they say that, well, that's not official, but as all of us know, it is an official list, which should be officially be able to be used, but because of who are the legislators in this state, who they are, and of course, like I said again, they want to suppress the vote. They don't let us use it. So in that regards, I'm going to push for all these the local state legislators that I know who are around me that I talk to a lot. I'm going to push that they do bring it up to the next legislative session, that they pass it, because it has to be passed locally within the state, our local state. And so we want to make sure it does pass in the next legislative session. And in regards to Harris, I'm going to be supporting Harris 150%. And all the delegates that I know that are going to meet tomorrow, I'm going to start sending them emails and making a push to go ahead and support Harris to be the nominee. The VP is something we need to look at. Who would be a good prospect VP? On that, I'll go ahead and pass it to whoever wants to continue on.
Thank you, Martin. Noted. Leisha?
Thanks, Rojo. I was more surprised by the Sheila Jackson Lee news this weekend than I was with Biden stepping down. I think that was going to happen eventually after he had run his second term. Obviously, it's sooner than expected, but it's not, it really doesn't change the course of action. You know what I mean? And that's really just kind of like my 2 cents on it. Like, and as far as a VP, if you'll notice their comments on X, both Gabby Giffords and Mark Kelly seem to really be advocating for Kamala Harris. And I think Mark Kelly would be a tremendous pick for so many reasons. The Kelly Giffords family, just in general, I think it would be an excellent choice for VP. I mean, he's a veteran, a decorated veteran, a former astronaut. He stepped in for or won the election after John McCain passed. And Gabby Giffords was part of an assassination attempt. She was put in the crosshairs by, if I'm not mistaken, Sarah Palin during the Tea Party movement. There's a lot to rally behind there. Anyway, I digress. Those are my 2 cents. We're falling in line. It's blue no matter who.
Great, thank you.
Well, even being like a diehard Biden guy, I'm really just got to be honest. I'm not a diehard Kamala. So after today's kind of, unknowingly decision that didn't prepare us for anything, I'm kind of perplexed. I know I'm still going with my team, but it's just how do we switch gears if those gears kind of were never implemented before? It's just all of a sudden like a culture shock. It's just a clash because now we're going from like this is going to be a woman, a female president. So we definitely have to, I say, build a narrative. It's like a whole different change now. So to get with that change, how is that going to look going forward? Because we haven't been pushing it. We haven't even been saying anything about it until like today.
Thank you so much, Ben. I have Reverend and then Philip on stack.
So one of the thoughts that I had personally was I personally thinking I don't really care who the president is as long as we keep the cabinet that we have right now, because people like Deb, like Pete Buttigieg, people like, just the cabinet that's doing an amazing job, but we just need to keep them in place. So whoever's going to do that is the person who I want to have in the office.
I mean, with some changes, right? I mean, who is the guy who's the over the post office? DeJoy. We could do something about DeJoy, I feel like. But I guess he's not really in the cabinet.
But he's also a holdover from the previous administration.
Right, yeah.
Thank you. Philip, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, thank you. I'll take a stab at what's going on today. As we know, this is historical. We've never had this situation happen. I think the Republicans had it happen back in the 80s when Reagan was running, and this may have similar to what happened back in '76 with Ted Kennedy and Jimmy Carter. That's historical. Now, what's important here to realize is right now, as we speak, Biden controls about 90% of the delegates that's been allocated by each primary in each state that's ready to go to convention. There's about 700 superdelegates. These are congressmen, state reps, party leaders, and stuff like that, and DNC members that have been selected by each state. Most of them, the vast majority, support Biden to begin with. Right now, what is happening right now under DNC rules is the vote's going to be taken since Biden has over 90%. Well, let me put it this way: if Biden had less than 50% of the delegates, what would happen is the pledged delegates plus the super delegates would vote. However, since Biden holds 90% of the convention delegates, they would vote in addition to the super delegates will vote. The reason I'm bringing this up here, we're going to bring up the point here about who's going to run against our VP Harris. What we're seeing right now is what I'm picking up right now is this. Right now, everybody understands that the Democratic Party's official leader is Joe Biden. Through his surrogates, he basically is the Democratic Party. By him stepping down as the nominee, basically, and I'm going to use a term right now, Biden is referred to as the party boss for the Democratic Party. He just basically handed over that control to VP Harris. She's now basically the party boss. She now will have access to Biden's, I think, $95+ million war chest, plus $140 million and additional allied support already lined up in her back pocket as we speak right now. Any other candidates who want to run, you'll probably hear this in the upcoming news, they'll probably have some kind of vote to get the delegates to basically rally behind Kamala Harris right now. And they're also going to introduce what's called a mini primary. The problem with the mini primary system is it requires there be delegates for any candidate. Say, I'm going to pick up a name, say Martin Sain wants to run for VP. Well, he's going to have delegates from each of the 50 states to be nominated, but it would have to go through the Biden camp to be on the ballot. It's doubtful that anybody wants to be on that list because if they plan to run in 2028 for presidential election, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where people will be mad at you. So I think she pretty well has it sewn up. I like it because right now it makes it easier for them to pivot and start working to get the vote out to be able to protect our interests. Right now, Trump has that Project 2025, which is terrifying. If you're a minority, if you're OGTB, if you're a woman, guess what? All those rights are about to be stripped from you if Trump gets anywhere near the White House. Now, what's important here is in the next few days, the delegates selected are going to be courted. It's going to be historical. The delegates we submitted to the national DNC convention here are historical. They're going to make a decision that's going to go down in history. But the bottom line is what we're seeing right now is the way the party rules are written. She has the firepower, the manpower to be the next president of the United States, and it's doubtful you'll find anybody who's going to challenge her without at risk of them being basically damaged good for the year 2028. That's just my opinion. That's just the information I've been researching. Thank you.
And in regards to that, Philip, sorry about that, Rojo, but in regards to what you just said, this is historic. Well, what we need to remember, we also need to remember 1968, when Lyndon Baines Johnson quit, just like about this time, and that's when Humphreys became the nominee. And remember another thing, it also was in Chicago. How coincidence. And we had RFK, who got assassinated in California in 1968, and now we have RFK Jr. running also, but he's running as an independent. So this is more like, it seems like it's almost all back in 1968, all over again. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Martin. Just a reminder, if you're joining us, if you don't mind just adding your name and where you're calling from on the chat. That way folks can maybe, just get to know you a little bit. We are having the discussion right now. I'm hearing some great points and we are recording this meeting. Just remember that. That way folks that couldn't attend can attend. I guess a commentary that I'll bring up is I cannot, when I hear these comments and when I first heard about saying Biden should resign, I was very concerned about the fact that people were not saying who should substitute Biden if he were to resign. And that was concerning for me because I started right away thinking about the donors of the Democratic Party and maybe the fear behind Kamala being on the ticket and almost maybe wanting to substitute the whole ticket, right? So that was something that I was definitely acute to. But I'll pass it and feel free to raise your hand if you'd like to share something. I'll pass it. I have Al.
Thank you. I just want to point out that it's interesting how many people are coming out to support Kamala Harris's nomination. Mark Warner came out today to support, which he was like the first senator, I think, or the first senator, certainly of that level, to call for Biden to step down, which I found kind of troubling. But I think she's got a lot of support within the party. Does that mean that nobody will step up? Well, unfortunately, we're a big tent party. No, it's we'll see what happens. I hope that people don't make this don't we really need to kind of get behind a candidate at this point. I think we've had enough chaos for a while, to last us. And I think that if we don't start getting behind a candidate, we're strongly in danger of losing this election.
Yep, please go ahead.
So here's my question then. Is there anything so it's a two-part question. First part is there anything that prevents the caucus from endorsing? And if the answer is no, is there anything that prevents us us making that decision to endorse her?
So from what I can answer is that I don't think there's anything preventing us. In fact, I'm not fully sure, but I believe the young Dems are already, a few of them at least, like I got a message earlier that they're already planning calls for voting on endorsement so that this can be swift. I will say I have noticed, particularly ever since 2 days ago, a statement that was, I think, Black leaders and Black women activists are in support of Joe Biden, right? And if he were not to be the candidate in support of Kamala Harris. I think there's also that big push for let's unite instead of, we should spend a whole 2 weeks tearing down Joe Biden. So I do think this is the moment for the party to unite and then say, okay, well, now that Biden has stepped down, has done, I think as Schumer called it, a patriotic thing for not just the party, but the country. I think it's now up to us to then support it and be in line on the Democratic Party. So all that to say that I don't think that prevents us from endorsing. I think the only reason we were holding off was because we did want to acknowledge first the accomplishments with Biden, almost to do a big swallow. And then the next one would be, where do we go next? Also, because that gives us just time to see if the Texas Democratic Party takes any action so we can follow. But if not, I don't see why we wouldn't. Yeah. Lisha?
I did just want to point out I wasn't really happy with how the party went about asking Joe Biden, telling Joe Biden Biden to step down, or step aside or not run, because I felt like it was really kind of disrespectful. And obviously for me, from my perspective, it seems like it's not just about the health, but some ageism there as well. But it was just kind of like, we needed him to step up, and we needed him to step up. And then we are just kind of like, I don't want to say like dismissing, but I just I don't agree with how it was handled. I think hopefully moving forward, if that's something that we have to do for any representative of any kind, that we handle it with a little more grace and tact. I did want to draw attention to, I was able to upload the statement, the IPC statement, in the chat if anybody would like to view it. And I did kind of gear that statement with that sentiment, just being appreciative, but not overly so. And please, if you have any recommendations, definitely include them in our Slack channel, or in the chat. But Slack is easiest for me to reference. And anything else you'd like to add? Also, Rojo, your question's really good. I don't have an answer, but I'm thinking on it. Please go ahead, Reverend Green.
So I guess one of my questions is, and I have no agenda and I have no opinion one way or the other, so this is just me asking a question. What is the virtue in waiting for the Texas Democratic Party to take the lead when it's taken them their entire history to recognize that the indigenous people, well, exist?
I can answer unless somebody from the executive team wants to also chime in. Yeah, I'll be honest. We just heard about this. So with the caucus officers, we were mostly planning for this call, and I don't think we've had the time to really gather to decide how to move forward. I think we chose to kind of just open this to the floor and the general body of the Indigenous Peoples Caucus first. So I think these comments and these questions are valid and needed. Because then it creates, movement for ourselves also to then go ahead and take action. I think you proposing it as well can be something that we should incorporate as part of the meeting and the conversation so that we can move swiftly. But yeah, I don't really, like I said, my response is really just because it just happened today. And the statement for Joe Biden, which just kind of did it, as a response. I did notice he put out two statements. Like the first one was him stepping down, and the second one was fully supporting Kamala. So I think, like Lisha alluded to, we created this one, but I mean, I don't see anything stopping us from creating another one for Kamala. We are ultimately Democrats, and I think we want the best for the party. So we would support that. Yeah. Anybody has any other comments, or Lisha?
All right, Rojo, I do to add to that. Since we haven't issued the press release and the announcement's already been made, that modification can be made. It's just in that last second to last paragraph. I just substituted it for Harris to next administration, and I might have done that elsewhere at the top somewhere. You guys let me know what you think.
Great. Yeah. And it kind of seems like also, Reverend, you want to support with comms. So I feel like if you would like to, maybe if there's certain lines that you would like to kind of see there reflected, feel free to reach out to Lisha and make those edits with them. Because I do believe that we want to run this by, the way we communicate is mostly through Slack. So we do want to run this by folks to be able to see it, and then for us to publish it tomorrow, or give at least some time for folks to be able to provide some kind of feedback, right?
Right.
But yeah, anybody has any other comments on that? I did want to touch briefly on my question, because I did see a response, but also, yeah, absolutely. I do want to kind of highlight the response on Antoniette, like not just Gaza, right? But what I love is that now we're opening this conversation of foreign aid, and we are including Congo, we are including Sudan. We're able to kind of expand the humanitarian lens. So I do think that is crucial throughout this, and it is a win. I wasn't super excited, in my personal opinion, about Biden stepping down, because I had this conversation with Lisha that in the policy stance, I'm actually pleased with, you know, like some of the policies, at least regarding the national stuff. And I feel like I posed a question about the how can the Democratic Party ensure that Indigenous voices are more prominently presented. I mentioned to Lisha how going over the work that Deb Haaland has been doing in the Department of Interior, a lot of it sadly is only acknowledging. It's acknowledging the harms in boarding schools, or maybe erasing even or modifying the names of certain national parks or federal lands that honor the Confederacy and in this case, generals from the Confederacy. So I think a lot of her work has been acknowledging and finding, truth finding. So I'm excited to see what the next step could be. I do believe that we need to be crafting a platform for land back. So I would love to see what that would look like beyond the Department of Interior. I would love to see more Native American Indigenous folks appointed to other departments. You know, particularly like things like the EPA, like OSHA and others. And then I think what I mentioned to Lisha is in my opinion, I do believe we need to focus on the courts. And I think it would be a dream for our community to be able to have a Native American, Indigenous, or somebody that could reflect our values more in the Supreme Court one day. But yep, I'll pass it, Reverend.
I'll be honest, I'm driving right now and I don't remember exactly what state it was. But I remember that in the news, it was like the last week or two, there was a state that actually returned a decently sized chunk of land to its indigenous people. So, I mean, there is a blueprint, so to speak, of how to do that at the state from a state. So it shouldn't be the most impossible thing to do, just getting it approved.
I believe it was California.
That sounds accurate, and that also works out on our favor because California is a fairly large state as well. So, you know, larger states tend to have more complicated legislatures in theory.
That's right. Well, if folks maybe don't have a direct answer, maybe to the question either, I would say, how do folks see? I mean, let's just be honest about this, right? Like we are in the caucus and we have to be thinking at least for ourselves in the future. Could somebody maybe provide their thoughts on whether we win, or maybe their thoughts on whether we lose? Any thoughts for November? Like somebody feels strongly about us, we're winning.
I think we're Democrats, so we have to say we win.
I'm psyched. I'm ready to go. Give me my sneakers. Let's go door knock. We need to be phone banking. Like sign up to send postcards. Like this could be one of the most exciting elections of our lifetime. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm here for it.
I work for congressional candidates, so of course I'm excited about, you know, our chances of winning.
Absolutely, I hear you. Is there anybody, a brave person that maybe doesn't feel as excited? Because I know it's out there.
Hi, this is Terry. I think we're going to have a big challenge with 4 months to go to get a woman in office. That's just my opinion.
Fake it till you make it, Terry. Fake it till you make it.
But you know what? I love the challenge. We got the challenge. Let's rock with the challenge and let's move forward.
You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I like your opinion in the chat. Antoinette, would you like to share a bit more or your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So I think that Joe Biden completely lost the Muslim vote with his policies on Gaza. And so I feel like there is a alienated population of Muslim Democrats who are not going to vote for Joe Biden or Kamala because neither of them called for a ceasefire. And Kamala just announced her unwavering support again today. So I feel like that's going to be one of the biggest issues, in my opinion, because they're all voting third party. They're all voting Jill Stein. And so that's what I'm thinking. Because I'm like, when are we going to get a candidate that's going to say something about this? I mean, the ICJ just announced that they are committing genocide against Indigenous people and that Israelis are settlers and that they should give the land back. So why are we endorsing Zionist politicians?
Good point. Good points. And I love hearing different points for that same reason, because I think it's important for us to challenge ourselves, right? Like sometimes we can be in a tunnel if we're only talking to people that are on our side. So it is important for us to be challenging on we have challenges or not. I'm also considering, the other candidate that is running against Biden. If somebody could remind me his initials, is it, what are his initials? The Kennedy.
You're talking about RFK.
Correct. So, like I'm considering that as well. I'm considering that as another factor. And then somebody mentioned Manchin, right? Sadly, I myself am a little concerned about the enemy within. We've seen time and time again where bills are presented, where Democrats have power, in the House, the Senate, the presidency, and we still have bad faith or poison actors, right? Or poison pills within the Democratic Party that unfortunately sometimes can stop the progress or stop what we wish we were all doing. So that's what I am afraid of personally, because I've seen too many politicians often stick with their interests and their donor class instead of, the interest of the party, and in this case, the nation. So that's the thing that is I'm hesitant about. What I do feel positive about is the fact that most elections are decided by most elections in my eye is the untapped vote of the person that doesn't vote, right? The argument about is Democrat, Republican, or the couch, because many people should simply stay on the couch or go to work, and they are, sometimes sadly Republicans prevent them from exercising their vote. So I think it's important for us to then think through that horizon of how do we expand the electorate, because if people go out and vote in record numbers, we will win. So that's how I see it. And I hope that more people can feel that way and they can start organizing to not only register folks, right, but mobilize them later on, call upon them. We are coming towards the end. Any other hot takes? Any other comments from anybody?
I just wanted to say a little something. I just wanted to say I never liked the two dominant candidates. But what ended up happening weeks ago or at the beginning of the summer, I just kind of wanted to look at this cabinet and kind of weigh, would I be willing to risk losing this current cabinet and the people that they have put in? And I'm really, really happy that we got Deb Haaland, and I'm really happy that we got the first trans American doctor on the medical board, and I'm really happy that we had the first African American justice. And I feel like they got overshadowed by all the chaotic news. We couldn't even celebrate them. And that's kind of what happened to me. Like, I look at not if it's a Zionist cabinet officer running, I look at more, it's a Zionist system, it's a colonial system, it's a colonial voting institution. And the two-party system has not benefited the working class and the indigenous community. The only time we're actually mentioned in the Constitution is as savages. So yeah, these people have never been for indigenous voices. And so it's more, you're seeing us still as subhuman. And I'm going to look at protecting people in office that do reflect the multicultural, non-conformist, like people who are like the constituents and the voters. And so to keep people like that and a chance of voting like the first female president, I am super excited about that. And getting somebody who would actually put better seats. And I'm with Rojo about getting more people who could be of native dominant causes to be, maybe we can even get the first Native American justice of the peace now. I mean, I'm thinking about those kind of opportunities now. So yeah, I I just really, really don't want to accept the defeat yet of Project 2025 being real. I just don't want to accept that. We gotta fight that in a big way. And that's kind of how I felt about that.
Thank you so much for sharing. We need those perspectives. Lisha? Maybe not, Lisha?
Oh wait, I know how to use unmute. I'm sorry, y'all.
Okay.
I was talking the whole time. Thank you, Rojo. I wanted to piggyback off what it was that you were saying about mobilizing. It is incredibly important not just to phone bank and block walk and just talk to people, you know, your friends and family members about voting. You can turn it into an entire event. You can like go vote and then go get your nails done afterwards, or go see Deadpool Wolverine afterwards, or because if you'll remember the last time during the gubernatorial, was it the gubernatorial race? And Houston won the World Series, and we had very low turnout because the following day was the last day to vote. So get it done early. You know, make sure that you are registered. I think you still have October. There's a date in October that I think is your last day to register to vote. And if you're available to sign up to register to the polls, if you like to block walk, I'm in Houston. You can find me on Slack. That's how sometimes I'll spend my weekends when it gets close to election time, just block walking. So keep those things in mind. Talk about the election. I know some people think it's kind of like uncomfortable to have these conversations, but it is uncomfortable. Right now it is an uncomfortable time. So that was just to piggyback off of Rojo's point about mobilizing. Thank you guys.
And in regards to what you were just saying, Lisha, the last day to register to vote is October the 7th, which is that Monday. And I know a lot of the election departments are going to be staying open late for that day to get the last of all those who can register to vote to be registered to be able to vote in November. So that last day to register to vote is November. I want to say October 7th, and early voting is the last 2 weeks. Last week of October, and then the last complete week before the November 5th day. So yeah, we got a lot of important dates to come. We do need to go do a lot of block walking. If you're a precinct chair or anybody that can go out, let's go out and walk and push, pass out all that lit to make sure that everybody goes all the way down the ballot and vote for every single Democrat in the ticket so we can elect everybody and keep the Senate and take control of the House. We need to make sure we do all that.
Thank you, Martin. So, and thank you, Lisha, and thank you, folks that have shared. Thank you, everybody that has joined us. We are coming to the end of the meeting now. I did hear some action points throughout the meeting, and I'll just kind of name them. One would be that we are going to be releasing our statement. We are going to be putting it on the Slack open for members to be able to read it and maybe provide feedback until tomorrow for us to then publish. We'll do it on our socials and our Slack and our email. I think, Reverend, if you don't mind, I don't know how your time may be available for the next 24 hours. But if you don't mind, maybe just sending your comments or checking in with Lisha on Slack to make sure that we incorporate that and we make that modification at the end of our statement for Kamala support. Then the second one is, once again, if folks who would like to be interested in joining our comms team, reach out to Lisha, or if you would like to support with planning our next events, please reach out to Martin. I think the call to action now is no longer just being a participant, right? But being an active participant. So I do believe that in the next few weeks, we can continue utilizing Slack as an organizing hub for us to then plan what are the districts in Texas that, we could try to win, or that we could try to make a bit of the difference. Because I think just doing something is, not enough. We should be targeting and doing an action together. So then maybe finding out, right, what are some of the districts that we should prioritize. We can then look into making phone calls, emailing. I know the Reverend has a district that could use some support. So I do think, this can be a larger conversation for us to start planning and then advocating for that. So that maybe in the future, our meetings can also have some time for maybe, some kind of action or activism for us to take. But I think we're doing it right, folks. I do want to eventually kind of put some metrics out there for us to try to reach, maybe something like, hey, our caucus was able to make this many phone calls, or we door knock this many the doors, and ultimately supporting our local Democratic parties, of course. So yeah. I'll leave that at that.
One more thing that we need to I know Kristen put it in our Slack, and that's something we need to bring up to today, that the TDP has already updated the rules in regards to the membership of the SDEC, and we are already listed of our 2 members that were already voted in. That are already part of the SDEC. So that is something that we need to also acknowledge and pat ourselves in the back for that we have accomplished. So that's something, a major plus in regards to us for everything that we have done in regards to the Indigenous people.
Absolutely. Always always good to celebrate as well, the wins. So yeah, absolutely. We're gonna make sure we make maybe a statement later this week to Martin, or to highlight it, right? Like, we're official. But yeah, a lot of work to come, but ultimately I think if we do it together, we can accomplish it and we can do it right. Anybody else has any other burning thoughts before we adjourn the meeting?
I have a question. Sorry, I couldn't.
Oh.
Sorry, I couldn't figure out how to get the button to cooperate. I remember mentioning of dues potentially coming up after this month. Is that something that's going to happen?
Yes, we're working on that. I believe that we'll be sending an email for the invitation to our September meeting and announcing that we will not have a meeting in August. That way folks can also have the information about the dues. And I do believe that our committees are going to try to meet before September. So again, if you would like to support with comms, feel free to reach out to Lisha, and y'all can meet throughout, the next 2 months. Events, Martin. And I actually will be supporting with the policy with Taylor. We'll be looking at the policy and eventually fundraising. So if you happen to be interested on that one would be helpful too. But yes, we should be sending out an email with that information, Reverend. Did I hear another voice?
I had a question.
Yes.
I sent an email, maybe it was Tuesday, Wednesday. I was wanting to mention I am starting to correspond for a grassroots newspaper here in San Antonio, Texas. And they were asking for like my first 3 pitches on stories, and I asked them if I could go ahead and highlight the caucus. I wanted to give it a little bit of media here in San Antonio, but I also wanted to mention that they also have a digital version, like a website version of their newspaper, so it would reach a larger audience than just San Antonio. And so what the grassroots paper really focuses on is climate change, environmental justice, and social justice. So I thought it would just be really a good opportunity for more people to read and see the work that's being done in the caucus. And I was thinking maybe I can meet up with Martin later or whoever is willing to kind of like help me put together the story I want to make to introduce you all to that wider audience. And I think it would be really beneficial to kind of promote like what you were saying right now, that there's going to be a push for the policy, fundraising, all of that. I think it would be like positive media. But I just wanted to see if that email got reached, if people had a chance to look at it, or who would want to work with me on developing that story.
Yeah, absolutely. Lisha showed it to us as a communications coordinator. So I think that's going to be your first
Awesome.
point. I see Lisha's question about including the paper, if you don't mind.
Yes.
And maybe dropping the link. But I would say reach out to Lisha first to go over this. And I love that idea of highlighting the committees, because we do need support, right? And we want to make sure that folks around Texas know that we are also for allies. And this is the way of doing allyship, not just saying it, but doing it. So we need support.
And I was just taking seizing the opportunity today to come in the meeting and mention it, because I totally understand, like me as an educator, like we get millions of emails every week, and so it could have been an email that just, went to spam or got floated away. So I just wanted to seize the opportunity to make sure like I open the opportunity.
Oh, you
And
did. Glad you did. Thank you, because it's helpful and we need it. Lisha, you want?
yeah.
Sorry, Rojo,
Yeah.
I was just trying to search our email for the email from Danielle. I'm not sure that I'm seeing it. Do you remember getting an email?
Well, you just send it to us on the Slack as a screenshot, or at least that's how I saw it first.
Okay, so you did see one?
Oh, okay.
Yes, I can forward it to you, but I can add it on the Caucus officers chat too.
Yeah, that's just me double checking that my email doesn't get set to like a spam or like the junk mail or something. I was just checking too.
No, we did got it. I think Lisha, I don't know, you're still on mute. But yeah, Lisha at least sent it to us, and I was able to read it. So I think, yeah, we'll be checking in with you this week so we can follow up.
Yeah, and I also wanted to let you know, like, the reason of my summer hiatus, I finished the program in May, and then it was just a crazy whirlwind of job applications, and I'm gonna be teaching out of Our Lady of the Lake University now. So it's Dr. Lopez forever now. So that was the reason I was really busy.
Congratulations, Dr. Lopez. That is very exciting.
Yeah.
I just
So
wanted
that's the only reason I was like kind of like in a unintentional hiatus. I didn't think the job applications and kind of like the whole post process was going to be as hectic and busy as I thought it was going to be. I imagined it would be, but yeah, but I'm back. I'm here.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back. Sometimes, life happens. I can attest to that, for
Yeah.
sure. But before we got off, I just wanted to say one more time as a reminder, please join our Slack. Kristen dropped the link in the chat. So please, get involved in that member chat. Include paper, any articles. Danielle, I've already sent the link to myself for your paper. And like events, if you guys know of any events that are going on, drop that in the members chat. They don't necessarily have to be political. They can be Indigenous, and they can be, I feel like every issue is pretty much political to an extent, but like if it's an environmental thing, or if you're doing like a tree planting event or like trash pickup, even stuff like that. We want to see what's going on in the communities. We want to get involved. We want to create engagement, and we want to, well, primarily engagement and just continue to grow. But please join Slack. All of that is to say, get involved in Slack.
Go ahead, Ruben. And after that, we're gonna go ahead and close it.
Two parts here. First part, can we get a, I'm not sure if one exists, but if it does not, can we get an event channel in Slack? And if it does exist, I'm not seeing it. So there's that. And then just wanted to mention, this week, the American Federation of Teachers are having their national conference here in Houston at the at the George R. Brown Convention Center. I know tomorrow morning there's a voter deputy registrar training happening. And then Wednesday, there is the Rally for Public Education. So I can drop those in to an events channel if one exists.
That's a good idea. I think, Martin, then we can create a events channel on the Signal that you can administer and to have folks then just drop those in there. If we know maybe like with a few days ahead, we can make sure that we also promote them on their socials for, as an official graphic or just promote their graphics. If folks are on Facebook, I know there's two Facebooks that we're encouraging. One is the IPC one, and the other one is called, I believe it's Texas Native Americans, if I'm not wrong, but I'll make sure to send those on Slack as well. Okay, if folks can maybe go off mute and then just say our goodbyes. But I think that is it, folks. With that, we're having a meeting adjourned, and I will be seeing you all in September.
Yes, and everybody that's going to be who is a delegate, make sure, don't forget, you do have a very important Zoom meeting